Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Um, it's nice to hear my voice again. Okay, so we're still in the social approach. Today we're going to cover the last study under social approach, which is a study about chimpanzee and their helping behavior by Yamamoto et al. So previously we have looked at Milgram and Pilevin and their social approach. Okay, so just to recap, these are the assumptions of social approach. Basically, according to social approach, our behavior, cognitions, and influence can be influenced by other individuals. So this was seen in Milgram's study. By other individuals in Milgram's, we talked about the authority figure, and then the other assumption is behavior, cognitions, and emotions can be influenced by groups or social contexts, which we looked when we looked at Pilevin. Okay, how diffusion of responsibility occurs when we are in a crowd. Okay, so again here, 3 studies from this approach: Milgram, which is based on the conflict between individual conscience and obedience to authority, and considers how far a person would obey instructions which involve hurting another person. In Pilevin, we looked at how bystanders behave in real life situations and factors that affect their desire to help, including diffusion of responsibility. So here in the study, Yamamoto, we will look at pro-social behavior and instrumental helping in chimpanzees, and looks at whether chimpanzees have the ability to help others based on specific needs. Okay, so here we're gonna learn about new terms, conspecifics. We have looked at altruism before, so we're gonna look at it again here. Another term that we're gonna learn is targeted helping or instrumental helping. So we're gonna look at the methodology, the procedure, and results. What are the strengths and weaknesses? Did they have any ethical issues or anything? Okay. So first of all, we will learn about this term, conspecifics. It's basically a term to define members of the same species. So these 2 chimpanzees are conspecifics of each other. Okay. Again, altruistic, acting helpfully towards others without obvious benefit to oneself. So you before I, remember? So helping with true intention of helping, not because you want benefit from them. Okay. Targeted helping is a care or help given which is based on a cognitive understanding of the need or situation of others. Targeted helping is considered to be linked to the cognitive capacity for empathy. So you feel empathy for the others, you feel concern, you know how they feel. Okay, you know that they need this, so you give them help. That is called targeted helping. Okay, so for example, this chimpanzee looks like she needs help going down. So the mother understands that she has difficulties, so she helps. So that's called targeted helping. Okay, now differences in helping behavior between humans and animals. Okay, so in humans, we engage extensively in helping behaviors in order to maintain cooperative society. An example of altruistic helping might be helping an old lady cross the road, which involves no guarantee of reward. Okay, for animals, they do engage in helping, but more often at the request of their conspecific. In other words, they may not help spontaneously or voluntarily, but rather at the direct request of others. So they will only help if they know, if the other conspecific requests for help. Okay, so they don't act spontaneously. They need a signal from the others to help. Okay. So why don't animals help spontaneously? Why do they need to wait for a direct request from the others for help? Okay, so the ability to offer help to members of our own species, for us humans, relies on an understanding of their goals, which is linked to theory of mind. Do you remember this? We've looked at theory of mind in Baron Concetti. Okay, how autistic people also lacks in theory of mind. Okay, so what is theory of mind? It refers to our capacity to understand the intention and needs of others. And some people believe that theory of mind is only unique to us humans, and it can explain why they are the only species to demonstrate altruistic helping. Okay, so what that means is that these animals, they cannot okay, it's next, this one, sorry. Okay, so however, some recent studies have shown that some primates have the capacity for helping and food sharing without direct benefit to others. So some primates do show altruistic food sharing. Among On non-human animals, only some great apes and elephant species demonstrate this form of helping behavior. By definition, the animals are expected to understand the other's needs. One cognitive explanation for such social behavior is targeted or instrumental helping. Help is provided when the situational needs are perceived by the helper. Okay, so there's some evidence to suggest that chimpanzees can engage in targeted helping following the direct request. For example, here an outstretched arm to requesting food. Okay, so she needs help. She needs food. Okay, so she lends her arm for a request for help. Only then will she help. Okay, but little is known about whether they have an ability to interpret the needs of conspecific. Okay. So for example, here is a video. Okay, only when she offer her hands does she know that she needs help. Okay, so that's why she helped. Okay, because it was requested by this conspecific. Okay, so she needed it to reach something. Okay, so the other this chimpanzee didn't know she needed help, but only when she outstretched her arm towards her that she know that she needed help. Okay. Now, in this study, the aim of the study was to learn more about helping behavior in chimpanzees. Specifically, the researchers wanted to find out whether chimpanzees can understand the needs of conspecific. So, did she understand that the other chimpanzee just now needed a stick? Okay, did she understand, or was that just a random behavior of holding out, giving her the stick? Okay, whether chimpanzees can respond to those needs with targeted helping. Okay, so research method is a lab experiment. It took place in an artificial environment where the chimpanzees were seated at adjacent experimental booths. So it happened in Japan. Okay, so these chimpanzees were in Kyoto. So as you can see, the setup is that the chimpanzee seated at adjacent experimental booth. So this is her booth and this is another conspecific's booth. We also had some tools here that they gave out, which is stick. This is a stick, there's a straw, there's a hose, there's a chain, rope, brush, and belt. Okay. So the independent variable was the ability of the chimpanzee to give targeted helping to another chimpanzee. Okay, so whether they can see or they cannot see. Okay. So why is there such difference here? Can see, cannot see. So for example, if she so this chimpanzee, what does it need to in order to get the juice? So she needs a stick, right? Okay, so if she were to give out stick to her, that means she understands the need, her needs, okay, which is she needs it to reach the juice. Okay, but let's say the next time we covered it up and you see that she is requesting for help and she gives out a stick, that means this is just a random behavior because she does not know that she needs a juice, right? Okay, so if she were to give a stick, that means this one just now was just random. It's not because she understands that she needs it. It's just that out of luck she just gave the right tool. Okay, so if she were to give out a brush. Yes. Okay, Mama mengajar first, okay? Okay. Okay. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, the other independent variable, sorry. Oh my god, sorry guys, I cannot focus. Okay, can you ask Baba for it? Wait, excuse me guys. Sit down. Yeah, I love Baba. Okay, I'm back, sorry. Okay, where was I? Okay, so this is how they manipulated the variable. So this is the condition where she could see what she needs. Here is she cannot see what the other conspecific needs. Okay, so what are we measuring? So we are measuring whether they can do targeted helping. So how do we do that? The items offered by the participants are conspecific. If it's a correct stool, stick, or straw, you will understand why a straw would be a correct tool after this, okay? And then the incorrect tools would be others, okay? Such behavior was recorded on video camera. So quantitative data, the number of correctly targeted offers per condition, whether they can see or cannot see, okay? Other things that they measured was how they moved, their responses to gestures, as well as whether they were looking while they sat in the experimental booth. Okay, so for example here, again, as I said just now, what would be the correct tool? So if this chimpanzee gave stick, which is the correct tool, so that would be listed under correct tool, okay? So if she were to give a brush, so that would be incorrect tool, okay, because she cannot use the brush to reach the juice. Okay, now here, there were some trials of the experiment where they put the juice here. Okay, so the tool that this chimpanzee would need would be a stick in order to reach it. Okay, where there are some trials where they put the juice somewhere up here. Okay, it's in a box. The only way they can reach the juice is by putting straw in it and then drinking it from there. So the correct tool in this trial would be a straw. Okay, so this is how they did it. They will do the can-see trial first, okay, and see how many percentage of item offered when needed was correct, okay, and then they will do the cannot see, and then they will do a can see again. Okay, so it's a repeated measures design, so they will be in the can see and cannot see condition. Participants, 5 participants, chimpanzees, who were socially housed within the Primate Research Institute at Kyoto University, took part in the study. So each had previously been a part of a number of other perceptual and cognitive studies, so they are used to being experimented, guys, including some investigating helping behavior in a similar setting to the present study. In each trial, the chimpanzee participants were paired in mother and child pairs, so they are in pairs. So as you remember just now, they are seated adjacent to each other, so it's usually a pair of mother and daughter, okay, or mother and child. So in each trial, the chimpanzee participants were paired in mother and child pairs. This was because each pair had already demonstrated frequent tool-giving interactions in previous experiments, so they are used to each other. Okay. Also, they were familiar with the tool used in the study. Okay. So these are the pair. Okay, Chloe and Cleo, I and Ayumu, Pan and Pal. So the mothers are Chloe, I, and Pan. Okay, but Chloe died because untrusted source. She died because she was allergic to orange juice. Okay. Okay, so the procedure. The experimenters designed the experimental task in order to examine the ability and flexibility of chimpanzees to help a conspecific depending on their need. A chimpanzee had to select a tool that would help the other chimpanzee to solve a problem. One task required a stick, and the other required a straw. Solving the task allowed the second chimpanzee in the pair to obtain a reward, which is a juice drink. Okay. So 7 objects, including stick and straw, were placed in a booth occupied with a potential helper. This could not be reached by the potential recipient, but could be requested by the chimpanzee poking his or her arm through a hole to gesture. So let's say, for example, in this trial, the juice is here, so this is empty, right? So the juice is here, so there's a chimpanzee here, a chimpanzee there. What they will usually do is they give a stick to here, okay, to this chimpanzee, okay. So this person requires the help of this chimpanzee. Sorry, did I just say person? Okay, so this chimpanzee requires the stick from this chimpanzee that she received. Okay, so whether she will help this chimpanzee or not in order to solve the problem. Okay. This allowed the experimenters to examine whether the potential helper chimpanzee was able to understand what the other needed. Before any trial started, the chimpanzees went through a familiarization phase each day where they could examine and manipulate all the objects without the need to use them as tools or offer them to others. So before the study, guys, they've already given these tools to the chimpanzees, so they know what each is, okay? They know the purpose of each of these tools, okay? So that would be like a familiarization phase, okay? So that we control, so that we know that they gave this because they know it works, okay? So this is to eliminate extraneous variables of them not understanding what is the role of each of these tools, okay? So when the experimental trials began, each chimpanzee experienced the conditions in the same orders. Firstly, they were placed in the can-see booth, in which the panel between the two chimpanzees was transparent. Next, they completed the task in the cannot-see booth, in which the panel was opaque, so basically they cannot see the other chimpanzee. So they cannot see what this chimpanzee need, okay? Next, finally the can-see condition was repeated in order to confirm that any difference in object choice between the first and two conditions was due to intentional targeted helping, not an order effect, okay? So the trial began when the tray of objects was presented. The trial ended when the recipient received the object and succeeded in obtaining the juice reward, or after 5 minutes had elapsed without an object being passed. Offers were counted when the chimpanzee held out the object to the recipient, whether the recipient took the object or not. Only the first offer to help was counted. Subsequent offers of different items were not included in the data. So let's say, for example, in this trial, she gives out a brush, okay? So that would be incorrect too, right? And then the second time she offers a stick, which is correct, but we will not consider that as correct because the first trial just now they gave a brush, okay? Between 2 and 4 trials were conducted per day, okay? So 48 trials each, random order of 24 stick use and 24 straw use situation. So this is an example. Okay, so they're given the tray, so the trial has begun, and the first offer is how cute. So if no offer, also the first offer is a straw, which would be a correct tool here, yes. Okay, so that would be considered as correct. Okay, another example. This is in the cannot see condition, so she does not know what the other chimpanzee need. Let's see what the first offer is. It's a straw, which I assume is incorrect because she's still waiting for the correct tool. So the second offer is a... So she does not know what the person needs, right? So this will be considered as incorrect, guys, because the first offer was a straw, which was incorrect. Even though she finally gave the stick, which is a correct tool, it's still considered as incorrect because the first offer was a straw. Only now she checks what the other chimp needs. Okay, so in these two trials, so this chimpanzee gave out the first offer, which is a stick, which is sorry, what was the correct offer here? A straw. Okay, so her first offer to this chimp was a straw, because which is correct. That's because she can see what she needs. Okay, so that means she understands what she needs. Okay, so let's say in this trial, if she understands that this chimp need a stick, she would have given out the stick first. Okay, but here she gave out incorrect tool, which means she needed to see in order to understand. So which means it's correct that what she's giving is based on what she needs, okay? Not just because of a random behavior. Okay, so at first they were familiarized with the objects, okay, and then the trials. So these are the results. The experimenters found that chimpanzees are capable of flexible, targeted helping based on understanding of others' goals. In the can-see condition, objects were offered in 91% of trials, irrespective of which tool. Okay, so not considering whether it's correct or not correct, 91% of the trials they tried to help. They offered something. Okay, and this mostly occurred following requests from the paired chimpanzee. Again, it's also proven here that chimpanzees do not help spontaneously, voluntarily. They actually wait for the request of the others for help. Only then they will help. Okay, so for example, as you can see just now, this monkey was handing out its hand. Okay, only then she helps. Okay. Okay. This can be compared to the pre-test familiarization trials where offering occurred in only 5% of the trials. So during this time, they didn't help much. Okay, so after a few practices, they finally give out help when the other chimpanzee stretch out their arms. Okay. Okay. Now let's see whether what they gave was a correct tool or not. Correct tool. Astaghfirullahalazim. Okay. So when the stick was needed, the stick was offered most often. Okay, which means they understood that what the other chimpanzee need. Okay, they saw what they needed and they gave what the other chimpanzee needed. Okay, and when the straw was needed, the straw was offered most often. Okay, it shows that chimpanzees could distinguish between potential tools and useless objects. In addition, the chimpanzees selected the correct tool, stick or straw, to offer to their partner over a significant number of trials. This suggests that the chimpanzees used targeted helping through understanding of the task confronting their partner. Okay, so they showed targeted helping, so where they understood what others needed, so they understood what the other chimpanzees need and they offered their help. Okay, so right after they were in the can-see condition, they were in the cannot-see condition. At least one object was offered in 96% of trials. Again, offering occurred mostly at the request of the paired conspecific. Like the first condition, all but one chimpanzee offered a potentially tool significantly more than non-tools. Okay, sorry, I forgot to emphasize here in the can-see condition, most of these I, Cleo, Pal, and Ayumu, they were correct in this percentage of trials, except for Pan. Pan always offered brush first. Okay, something is wrong with Pan. Okay. Okay, so here, like the first condition, all but one chimpanzee first offered the correct tool significantly more than the non-tools. Okay, so only this one chimpanzee was correct the whole most of the time. Okay. Well, sorry, this was supposed to be Tari. Remember how Pan mostly offered brush first? Okay, so when this item was removed from her tray, baru Tashi made appropriate tool offers similar to the other chimpanzees. So something about this brush, okay, that Pan was really intrigued by, okay? Okay, in the cannot see condition, for AI, 89.4% of the trials, she either offered stick or straw first, okay, for the same for all, except for Pan, again, offered brush on 55.3% of the trials. Okay. So in terms of offering the stick when the stick was needed and the straw when the straw was needed, it was virtually a 50-50 split in this condition. So for example, when a stick was needed, 50% of the time they offered the straw, and then the other 50% they offered a stick, so it was incorrect. Okay, except for Ayumu. Ayumu was correct most of the time. When a stick was needed, she gave a stick. When a straw was needed, she gave a straw. Why? Because Ayumu looked through the hole to see what the other chimp, what the partner needed. Okay, that's why it was correct, because she saw what the other chimp needed, and so she gave the correct tool. Okay, so the difference is that in the can-see condition, there was a significant difference in which tool, stick or straw was offered. So when it was a stick that was needed, they gave a stick. When a straw was needed, they gave a straw, depending on the task requirement. So they were correct. Okay, but in the cannot see condition, there was no significant difference in which tool was offered in all but one chimp. So when the stick was needed, 50% of the time they gave a straw. Okay, and vice versa. So what does that mean? It means that in the cannot see condition, they did not understand what the other chimp need. Okay, why? Because they didn't see. So which means in order for them to give the correct tool, they needed to see to understand what they need. So which means all this while they were helping because they understood what the other chimp needs. So which means they had targeted helping. They were not just giving the tool because it was just randomly they gave out the correct one. No, it's because they understood what the other chimp need. Okay, so this proved the targeted helping, where help was given when they understand what the needs of the others is. Okay, so here Ayumu so Ayumu was given tools, so she picked to her partner to see what she needed, and then she gave the correct tool. Sneaky Ayumu. Okay, so Ayumu, who did select the correct tool more often, was able to stand and peer through a hole in the wall. He did so in order to view his partner chimpanzee, his mother, and observe what the task she was facing. Okay, that's why she could give the correct tool, because she saw what the mother needed, so she gave the correct tool. Okay, so these results suggest that chimpanzees were only able to understand their partner's goal when able to see the task themselves. Okay, so you know the order just now, they undergo the can see, and then cannot see, and then can see again, okay, to eliminate order effect. A repeat of the can see condition was undertaken with 3 chimpanzees who had previously shown a significant difference in stool selection in the can see condition and a non-significant difference in the cannot see condition. Object offered was 98%. In 98% of the trials, the partner did give an offer irrespective of whether it was correct or not, and 80% of the time it's because the partner stretched out its arm to ask for help. Okay, so there was a significant difference in offer of stick or straw depending on the partner chimpanzee situation. This confirms flexible targeted helping with an understanding of the tool needed to complete the task when the chimpanzees could see the task for themselves. Okay, what this means is that, okay, if they gave the correct tool in the can see condition, and then in the cannot see condition they gave the incorrect tool, there's a possibility that it is due to an order effect. Okay, not so they had to recheck. So here what they found was, in the can see they gave the correct tool, cannot see they gave incorrect tool, so the next can see they gave the correct tool, which means it's because they understood, not because it was because of the order. Okay, so this confirm our results. Okay, so this is the overall result. So what can we conclude? This study provides evidence for chimpanzees' flexible targeted helping based on understanding of the needs or goal of another chimpanzee. So when they could see what the other partner needed, they were able to give the correct tool, which means they helped because they understood the need of the other partner, the need of the other chimpanzee. So when the chimpanzees could see what was needed, they tended to select the most appropriate tool for the job. They still seldom help with others without a direct request. So most of the time, they only offered a tool when the other partner stretched out its arm to ask for the tool. Okay, so here are some evaluation which you can read yourself. Okay, so I will give you the slides after this, and then I will what's gonna happen is we will have a Zoom session for evaluation where we will discuss the evaluation. So please make sure you read the evaluation bit so that we can easily discuss it on Zoom. Okay, thank you for watching.